What about how Enzo Ferrari handled the crash made you ultimately decide to leave?
So to make a long story short, I lost the championship in '76 because of my accident by 1 point. And then I called him right away from Tokyo and said, I'm sorry I lost the championship, but for me the conditions to drive were unacceptable. Very simple. And he said to me, Nicky, I fully agree, I fully support what you have done, no problem. Then I had to stop for 1 month because I needed another operation here on my eye and I couldn't be there. Operation was finished, I came down to Ferrari again after 1 month and I said, now I'm ready, I'm full fit, so let's start again to work. And then he said, yeah, we want to start to work, but I have taken some different decisions now. Mr. Reutemann is the #1 driver and you are the #2 driver. My contract says I'm #1 driver. Yeah, I know, I don't care. Reutemann, I'm 100% sure, he is the better one than you. You will not recover as quickly as you think. Therefore, he's the #1 driver. So I went out, walked around the car, didn't know what to do. And he had his office there, he was in there with Gotzi, came back in and said, if you don't fulfill your contract, which is very simple, I want you to let me go. Because if you don't want me as a #1 driver, I don't expect a #2 driver position, let's finish the contract. Simple. You take somebody else up and I go. This was all in November. And then he said, no. Where do you want to go? McLaren. McLaren was the competitive car at the time. Why do you think you go to McLaren? I just spoke to Ron Dennis. So I left again, and now the Italian fear came up. Called me back in, said, you're right. #2 driver, forget it, but nevertheless, Reutemann is in charge now of the whole development of the car, and he's in charge of all this, but I cannot ask you to be a #2. But then, the biggest mistake I did, I have to say now, in '77, when I left them, I didn't feel being treated right, in a way, because he put me in #2 position for it. So I didn't like that. So then I had another offer from Ecclestone, who had the Brabham team, to leave Ferrari and go to drive the Brabham Alfa Romeo for a lot of money. And then he called me, I signed with Bernie. Ferrari called me to the factory and said, now let's sit down, discuss the future. And normally you do this with him alone, that he does not have to take a decision. But at that time, it was Fulgari there, De La Casa there, the money man, he was there, Gotzi was there, and I was sitting on the other side of the table, and he says, how much do you want to continue our relationship? Because I just won the World Championship. I said, nothing. What do you mean? No, I'm leaving. You're leaving? Are you crazy? How much do you want? I pay you any money you want. Sir, I have taken a decision. I'm going to drive for Ecclestone, Brabham Alfa Romeo. Unfortunately, I signed the contract. This was the right decision for me at the time. I'm leaving. Then he was not happy.
What did he do?
He screamed around. He talked with his guys in Italian, but then in the end, there was nothing to do. And when I left this meeting, I will never forget this. I felt light as a feather, because all this pressure I had, which you take every day and you don't realize, suddenly was gone. The Ferrari pressure to perform. And I felt completely happy, I have to say. Looking backwards, it was a big mistake. I should have stayed. I should have asked him the same amount of money what Bernie paid me. I would have been more successful. But at the time, it was for me the right decision, even if it was wrong, because of all this experience after the accident, how difficult was it to get his support back, made me a #2, then I won again the championship. So in all this, I didn't want to forget. I had in the back of my mind. But looking backward, it was wrong to leave him.